Welcome back, guys. This time we're going to look at a traditional roll and move race game for beginners with a little extra twist. Thinking snakes and ladders, Ludo, that sort of thing, sort of game, but brought into the modern era. This is a game called Jamaica, a piratey themed game, which means you're racing around the island of Jamaica with your pirate boats there, racing around the island of Jamaica, picking up points, gathering treasures, battling with your other pirates as you race around the island of Jamaica. So each player starts with a shipboard, like so, with 5 holes in, and each player starts with 3 gold doubloons and 3 food. Now the way to play the game is, first player takes his first player marker and a set of these movement and resource gathering cards. Now each one of these cards is different, but if we look at the card, we have 2 symbols in the top left and right. This one, for example, is cannons and food. This one is gold and move forwards with a green arrow. And this one has a move forwards green arrow and a move backwards red arrow. Everyone's set of cards is the same, but you'll shuffle them up and draw 3 each at the start, so everyone will have slightly different cards at the start of the game. And basically what we do is, the first player will roll you 2 dice, like so. And if you look on the compass place here, we have a morning and evening dice. So if we place the 5 at the morning and the 3 at the evening, we'll then look at our choice of 3 cards that we have. And so if we decided to play this card, we would pick up 5 extra gold in the morning, which corresponds to that. Place them in our hole. Now you can't place on top of a hole that's already got things in, so you've only got 5 spaces throughout the game. So make sure there's a little bit of strategy in where you want to place what. And if we'd play this card, we'd pick up 5 gold, put them in a hold, and the 3 movement would be our evening action. So we'd move our ship 1, 2, 3. Now when you come onto the board, you'll see these little squares. If it's somewhere where there's not a port, you must pay food. 2 food there, you'd pay your 2 food. So you're providing your sailors with food to carry on the journey, and would pay those. And then the next player would go with one of their cards, etc. They might have pick up 5 cannons and pick up 3 food, so that's what they're doing their hold, so on and so forth. Once everyone's had a turn, the first player marker moves to the next player, and then we start for turn 2, like so. Pay food for these squares here once you've moved. Once you get to a port, you have to pay gold to stay at the port. If you haven't got food or gold, you have to move backwards to the next available space that you could go. Let's say, for example, I didn't have 3 food there, but I did have 3 gold in my hold. I would have to move backwards. That one's 5 gold, that one's 3, and I would have to pay the 3 gold to stay there. You may notice on the way around as well, you have these treasure tokens that are located on skulls throughout the board. Whenever you stop at one of these, you take the token off the board and you draw a treasure card. Now these cards come with different things on them. We have a look over here. That's an extra ship hold that which you'd put, which then gives you a bonus. You could then hold more things as you go around. That gives you an extra hold space. A treasure map, which allows you to hold, instead of 3 cards in your hand, you could hold 4, giving you more choice as to what you do on your turn. +7 extra treasure, which you keep in your hand, because some cards allow you to steal treasure cards of other players. This gives you a battle strength of +2 when you come to battle another player. I'll go through that quickly now. If 2 of you land in the same space on the same turn, you have an option of battling, in which case you roll your battle dice. Now, once you've picked up cannons, you then choose how many of your cannons you can use in a battle. And you then roll the dice. So if I say I'd pick 2 cannons to use, I rolled 8, so my total will be 10. Let's say my opponent chooses to use 4 cannons that he has. He would then roll his dice, and he obviously got 14. So he won. You would then discard your cannons you chose back to the supply, and the winner would choose one of your holds to steal all the whatever you've got in your hold from. This one gives you a +2 to your cannon battles every time. You also get cursed treasure. These are minus victory points at the end of the game. Again, you hide these in your hand with your normal treasure. If somebody comes to steal something off you, you show them the backs and they have to pick one, and hopefully they're going to pick a cursed treasure instead of a +1. So we've got +3 treasure. Again, another +2 to battling with the sword. Cursed treasure, good treasure, and those +2 for battling. +2 for battling. Sorry, that's ×2 for battling, not +2. You get your treasure cards, your hold, and your extra card to hold in your hand. Now you race around the island, taking it in turns all the way to the end. Once one player reaches Port Royal again, they get an extra 15 points. And depending on where everybody else is around the board, anybody behind this line obviously gets the minus victory points. Say yellow was there, they'd get 3, blue would get 6, purple would get 9, and black would get 10. Now you add those points to your treasure cards that you have, and how many treasure tokens you got in your hold at the end of the game. The person with the most victory points wins. So even though you cross the line first, you're not necessarily guaranteed to win, because somebody might have a lot more treasure than you and treasure cards. That is basically the game. Nice quick roll and move mechanic with a few extra little piratey twists in. Now it does come with an expansion called the Crew. I'll quickly show you that. If you just hold fire a minute. Now the Crew expansion. Whenever you land at a port and you pay the correct amount of gold to stay at the port, you can then recruit different crew members which take up a hold space. What you would do with the game comes with other treasure cards. You would remove all the original game treasure cards and replace them with these. These just contain cursed and normal treasures. Now, in case you're asking, well, where's my extra hold gone? Where's my extra cards gone? Where's my extra battling cards gone? Well, they're in the crew members that you can hire. And at the start of the game, if you're using the expansion, we have a bottle of grog here. You'd shuffle all the crew cards up at the start of the game, face down, and place them in this tray. And at the start of the game, you would turn over the 3 orthogonal crew members that are next to the bottle. And I'd say once you get to a port, pay the appropriate amount of gold, and these are your extra crew members, which give you extra things. So if we can see on these 3 that are supplied here, let me get my magnifying glass because my eyes are terrible. This one gives you an extra 2 cannons. This fella allows you to swap gold for food, and this one gives you an extra treasure thing. These are explained in the rules. As I say, you're missing holds and things out, members of crews and that there. Once you pick which crew member you want, let's say for example I want to pick the guy that gives me 2 extra cannons, I would then place the crew guy in one of my holds, and I'd move the grog to where that was, and then these 2 would then become available to buy as well. Next player might decide when he gets to a port to choose this guy, so he would pick that one, put it in his hold. Your grog bottle will move to there, and your orthogonal ones will become available as well. As you say, it goes on like that. Each crew member has a different bonus. They are explained in the rules. Like this one, this fella is the one that's the treasure map in the original, so that gives you your extra card in your hand. This one gives you +1 food, cannons or gold whenever you pick them up. Each one is different, and it's a nice little expansion to the game. Gives you little extra powers and things like that, but always remember they do take up one of your cargo spaces in your ship. So that's the crew expansion. The version I've got is the 1st edition. There is a 2nd edition which has slightly different paying rules. So remember when we said if we got here we couldn't pay, we'd have to go back. I believe there's something on the battling dice which means you go back to what it says on the battling dice, but I believe that is the only change to the 2nd edition. So there we go guys, that's Jamaica. A nice little roll and move race game, similar to Snakes and Ladders and Ludo. You're racing around the board, collecting piratey treasures, battling with each other, stealing things from each other's ship, and it's a really fun game to play. So there we go guys, that's Jamaica and the crew expansion. I hope that's been of good information for you, and we'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.